What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video, and today we're going to be doing another mock draft, this time with trades, and this time I'm boosting it to 3 rounds. So 3 rounds, 3 separate days. Feel free to stay tuned for that over the next couple. I would love for you guys to join. If you guys not already, like, comment, subscribe. You know how to do YouTube at this point. I hope so. So I'll let you get to it doing that. Of course, join the Discord. We have over 660 members in there. Do stuff like all 22 tape studies that you can't do here on YouTube. And I am Media Bowl credentialed for the Senior Bowl. So that means I am going to actually have access to all of the one-on-one tapes, which if it actually loads properly this year, we'll be doing there also live on Discord. So you're missing out because it's absolutely free. There's a great community over there, so I would love for you guys to go check it out. But without further ado, let's get right into this. Let's have some fun. Of course, below my face is my board. You guys are going to have issues with it. I 100% understand. Everybody has a different board, and you know what? If you want to have comments about it, feel free to talk about it. Don't be a dick about it because, again, I'm more than willing to back it up. Just come and DM me in the Discord. We'll go watch some tape together. I'm perfectly fine with that when I have the time, but again, let's get right into the draft. Pick number 1. So this is with trades. And of course, we're going to trade out this pick. There is a rumor that the Bears are shopping Justin Fields. I am not going to go there until that rumor starts picking up a little bit more momentum. Maybe we'll have a mock draft here and there. But, you know, we already kind of know what the top 4 picks are generally going to be. The top 5 picks are generally going to be at this point. So it's fair to say that we don't really need to explore that option until I feel like it's necessary. The Colts just feel like the best move at the moment. And, you know, moving up for their quarterback seems to be something Jim Irsay wants to do. And, you know, it's tough because I think the Bears will really be gunning for that early second. And they could, I mean, Indy could be smart here and say, we'll package our 1, 2, 3. You give us your 1, 2, and then we'll give you more picks next year, just to guarantee that they're in a good spot to grab at least a competent offensive lineman. But sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. I don't know if it is going to work out that way for Indy. In this draft, it is not. So, Bears fans, I know you guys want 3 first-round picks for this, but that just does not make sense. This class is not good enough to warrant, especially the quarterback class is not good enough to warrant 3 first-round picks, in my opinion. But I think that maybe you can scoop by with a 1, 3, 1, 2. I think that's what you can do. If you guys have that big of an issue with it, of course, feel free to change it in your mind. It's not going to affect this mock draft. So we're going to offer the trade, 97% chance of it being accepted. Therefore, it was. And the first pick is not going to be Bryce Young. I think Irsay just wants to take the guy that he wants the most. I hope to God it's not Will Levis, and I'm not going to make it that way. It is going to be C.J. Stroud there at number 1 overall. Again, it's a heavy price to pay, but he is somebody who seems to fit in the system well. Obviously played with Colts legend Marvin Harrison's son there in college, so you do have something pretty damn awesome in the makings right there, especially if you guys can somehow, some way find a way to get Marvin Harrison Jr., which losing next year's one, maybe not the best thing in the world, but, you know, you can, there's so many things you can do in the NFL nowadays, so I would not be surprised if they could reposition themselves to get something really good like Marvin Harrison next year. I digress. Pick number 2, it really depends if DeMeco Ryans is going to be the guy, because if he is, there could be concerns about Bryce Young's size, and we could say, hey, you know what, we're going to go Jalen Carter here. We're going to go Will Anderson here, and that could totally shake everything up. I don't think that's going to happen. So we're going to go Bryce Young here for the Texans. I think that's bright. You know, I think it's the right move. I would say you could take a shot on Jalen Carter and then potentially use a quarterback pick next year. But I know that, you know, jobs are always on the line. So, you know, you do sometimes have to take picks in order to save your job. And a quarterback is the easiest way to extend your timeline rather than taking a generational player like Jalen Carter. But this pick, it really doesn't matter. I think that defensive interior is very thin in this class. Like, there is 4 dudes who I think probably will make a difference. And 2 of them are extremely, extremely scheme dependent. And that's Kalijah Kancey as well as Brian Breezy. So I think Jalen Carter is really just that special. I'm not going to take a shot on Will Anderson over someone like Jalen Carter because of the trust I have in the edge class. especially with guys like Derek Hall measuring out almost 35-inch arms today. There's something there where you can test out other guys down the boards where defensive interior doesn't always offer that upside. Pick number 4 for the Bears. I don't think this is much of a head scratcher here. You could trade back again and get a team to move up for Will Levis, but I don't think that's worth passing on Will Anderson. You already got your picks. Just chill and be happy with it. Pick number 5. I love going Tyree Wilson here, but I have to explore this option. Geno's getting older. It was obvious that he still has those slip-ups, and it seems like he has an Achilles heel. And, you know, we've had one good year from him. He is just not young enough to trust for the long run. And I'm thinking about this logically here. Like, personally, I would say, hey, go with the best player available. And you could argue Will Levis is that. I'm not going to make that argument personally, but Will Levis has a former Rams OC as a guy who was his offensive coordinator / head coach, if I'm not mistaken. He ran the Rams offensive scheme. Well, funnily enough, Seattle's OC came from the Rams and runs the exact same system. And we've seen Will Levis have success in that system when he's healthy. And he's not had the help of DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, as well as Kenny. Why do I want to say Kenny Gainwell? Y'all know exactly who I'm talking about. I don't need to explain that right now. But he has never had the support that he would have there in Seattle. I think this is a very likely move because, yes, you're not getting someone who's 21 years old. You're not getting a spring chicken here, but this is an awful draft in terms of the quarterback depth. You're going to potentially take a shot at an AR, and AR might be a dude who gets taken in the top 10 anyways. So there's no guarantee that you'll get him. There's probably no guarantee you'll ever be in the top 5, given the fact that you have a consistent defense and good weapons. So this is your chance to take a shot. I like the idea of not going Will Levis here, but at the same time, it just fits too damn well. And I have not done it for a long time. We are going to be going after Will Levis here for Seattle. Pick number 6 is down to Tyree Wilson, Myles Murphy. Again, does not matter. Both can play the edge very well. Both of them can kick inside very well. I don't think you have to be too concerned about how this draft shakes out, because if you get one of these dudes, you're going to be happy. And for me, like, Myles Murphy just is the better prospect, but I understand Tyree Wilson is someone who has a higher ceiling. He has 50 pressures on the year, but Myles Murphy to me just has a better floor. He has those inconsistencies for sure, and that's a little bit of something that was a bit of a bummer for me. He was my number 1 player the majority of the year, but Tyree Wilson, he does bring that instant run defense upgrade that you can kick to the inside at 275 at 6'6". He does have that more unique frame in terms of his length of his arms than Myles Murphy does. But I think Myles Murphy just brings more oomph to the table. I like Myles Murphy a lot. I would love to trade out of that pick. There's just no one worth it. There just isn't. You have to realize that to trade out, someone has to be willing to trade up. And if someone wants to trade up, there has to be someone worth paying the price. There's just not somebody right at this point that is worth paying the price. Pick number 7. A lot of people just want me to go Devon Witherspoon at this pick and call it a day. Now, I'm debating, like, we'll see based off of some more tape whether Devon Witherspoon is really that special as a cornerback talent. I saw him and he's a top 32 dude on my board. He's a good-ass corner. I think he's heavily overrated in terms of people thinking he's the second coming. Now, he plays a lot of off coverage. It's hard to really see your true athleticism when you're playing so far off the receiver. Hard to say how well you're going to do in an NFL scheme that's not off coverage as well. But he's very strong. He's also very devoted to being able to put his body on the line. So I love that. Obviously, great pass defense ability. There are big slip-ups in coverage. But again, coaching also exists. So he provides an excellent floor. And I think Devon Witherspoon, I'm going to do this for fun. I always go Joey Porter because he's way higher on my board. But I like to toss in, a little something new every now and again. He's going to pair up with Nate Hobbs, who I believe he played with there at. So you are automatically getting yourself an incredibly awesome player. I love Devon Witherspoon. Maybe not as much as everybody else. He's still a damn good player. At 7, a little bit rich for me. But at the same time, I understand you have that instant chemistry as well with Nate Hobbs. Pick number 8. I don't think I need to think about this much. I want to get some instant run defense and an upgrade in the pass rush. That is going to be Tyree Wilson all day. Now, this pick, Anthony Richardson's still here. And Frank Reich is the ideal dude to grab someone like that. But have to say, Anthony Richardson, I mean, man, it is tough to not go Anthony Richardson here. The more I watch him, it keeps reminding me. So I have on my Twitter, you guys can follow me there as well. I have my preliminary scouting reports on the website that I have in the description below as well. And AR is my quarterback too. He was. And it's just like you see that potential. You see the ball pop off his arm. You see those high-level plays. And it really requires somebody who can understand the power of a quarterback and understand that these type of guys make big mistakes, but they also can make those like incredible plays that no one else can. Frank Reich, unfortunately, for the people where I would love to go in a different direction here, Frank Reich just shows the direction you guys want to be in, and that's a direction of offense. And Frank Reich is known to be one of the best at mitigating players who cannot make the decision for themselves. So Carson Wentz is just the best example for it. He made Carson Wentz look very palatable. That's his exact style. So I don't know if you can get Carson Wentz back. If you can to this team for very cheap and create quarterback controversy, by all means do that. But I am not assuming that for this. I am sorry. A lot of people are saying, oh, thank God you didn't get Anthony Richardson. I think that the way the coaching hire happened, it just dictates it's going to be Levis or Richardson. You just have to believe in that. So as much as it pains me to do so, Anthony Richardson's at number 9. And it's not a bad thing. It's just I really want to go someplace else. But that coaching hire just screams we're getting a QB. So it is what it is. It's unfortunate. The Eagles at pick number 10, I wish I could trade back, honestly, and get Brian Branch a little bit later. Corner seems to be the move as well. Congrats on getting to the Super Bowl. I told y'all I believed in you. I gave you guys a 15-2 record. So, I'm glad to say that I was right on that account. But let's see, is there anybody worth moving up for? I've seen Breezy fall out of the first round. Could be injury concerns. There's a reason he was debating on going back. Don't think that people would move up necessarily for him. Bijan's not worth a top 10 pick. Again, never mind. Fuck that. We're going Joey Porter here. Yeah, my number 3 player in the class. The reason why I didn't even know he was there. Could he have been a pick for the Panthers? Yeah, same thing here. But I think these are more realistic picks, especially like if I'm going back and like looking at it, it's like I can't see those teams taking Joey Porter instead of these guys. But yeah, this is the perfect Eagles pick. I'm not even debating moving back anymore. I'm very happy with how that ended up. Pick number 11. Oof. So I really like the idea of going Peter Skoronski here. I think that'd be really fun for this team. Offensive line is something that I think is pretty paramount. You could trade back, but I'm just seeing multiple teams that can go O-line. And then you're cornered into going a receiver. I'd rather have the choice of who I want rather than who I get. And I don't think the price of a 3rd round pick or a 3rd and a 4th is necessarily worth losing out on that ability to choose. Like Quentin Johnston would be a really fun one for sure. But you look at guys like Peter Skoronski, and it's tough to say that he doesn't fit exactly what you're looking for. Small arms, yes. But I also think that you could end up being very comfortable with keeping him as a guard if he doesn't work as a tackle. So, I mean, he's just such a good player. He's such a high floor offensive lineman. I want to go with him, but you also have to think about what's realistic. And for you guys who are new, this is live, so I don't really like to set this up as like, oh, I'm going to, I'm not going to waste an hour of my time before setting up a mock draft because it's not very fun restating a thought process because that's not really a thought process, right? So, Darnell Wright, you're literally in Tennessee, left tackle, right tackle versatility. He's my tackle 1 in the class. You guys can see it there on my board. That's why I put it there, so y'all don't really need me to explain that. I did it in my last mock draft. I actually really like it. He's probably going to test out extremely well. Again, I haven't even seen all the tape from day 1 because I'm recording this while that day 1 tape's coming out. Carl Brooks looks excellent, by the way, but we are definitely going to be taking a look at that when the time comes. Pick number 12. D'Amico Ryan's pick would be Brian Breezy here, so I'd be very excited to do that. But I've been doing it quite a few times now with the Brian Breezy pick, and it is starting to look like the NFL might be lower on Breezy than what we expected. So going Quentin Johnston here does feel like it could be the right move. there just doesn't appear to be a true wide receiver one in the class. And like that is like heads and shoulders above. So you can go different routes here. But I think that Quentin has some DeAndre Hopkins to him. And that does fit. You're pretty much getting a worse DeAndre Hopkins and a worse Deshaun Watson in this draft. And that combo was killer for a long time. Like the best duo for a hot minute there in the NFL. So I'm excited to see if you can possibly re-spark that. And who knows, these guys might develop to be just as good, if not better. Pick number 13. Brian Branch is still on the board, and I'm very intrigued. Especially if I'm a team sitting here like, I'm looking at teams that could be looking for a safety right now. I'm looking at the Packers. I might want to jump the Patriots here to get Brian Branch because I don't really want to be left over with somebody that I don't want or somebody who is lower on my totem pole. I know for a fact that the Jets are going to be happy with Skoronski, Johnson, etc., Anton Harrison. So I think that's perfectly fine. I don't know why the Denver Broncos are smoking some crack up here, but they're going to do what they want to do. This is a very short-range trade, so for the people who are going to complain about the draft value, it's really minute. It's 2 spots, but you're getting that extra pick that you can use for a trade-up for potentially getting next year draft capital as well. If you guys don't like it, feel free to comment about it. We could always change it later on. But at pick number 13, this is going to be Brian Branch out of Alabama. Super high upside safety who also can play slot corner. But yes, he's going to be playing safety for you. Adrian Amos's role is going to be vacant. So you need somebody who has that oomph. And I definitely believe that Brian Branch is that perfect fit for a team that drafts defense round 1 every single year. So at this spot, you still have Breezy on the board too, which is a cool thing. It's a cool thing to see him fall in these because y'all know I have never been the biggest supporter of Brian. I think that he's going to be super scheme specific. I think the Eagles are a good spot. I think wherever D'Amico Ryans is going to go is going to be a good spot. I think that where the Lions are going to be is a good spot for him to go. So, you know, there's good spots to go. That's the bottom line. And I think that you could be happy with anything that you end up with, but you know, it's just, he's more scheme specific. You really need somebody who knows what they're doing, handcrafting a defensive lineman. All that to say, I think the Patriots should probably still be on the offensive tackle route. They could trade back and still get someone like Anton Harrison and be happy, but I'm just going to go with the best bet here. And like, again, it doesn't really matter. I think Paris Johnson's athleticism is going to be something that's very fun, but you know, you could end up seeing DeJuan Jones being the dude who Bill wants to target in a trade back. He had the, I think, longest arms or longest wingspan of all time at Senior Bowl. Ridiculous size. So I want to throw that idea out there. Patriots fans, let me know what you think. But I'm going to go Paris Johnson here just for that versatility. Peter Skoronski, to me, feels like a really cool guy to add in here. But at 32-inch arms, it has not been combine measured yet, but that is the measurement that has been made. I think the best route to go would be Broderick Jones or Anton Harrison. Just to get someone who can play left and right tackle, I'm going to go Anton. I just think that is the best case scenario. At this pick, yes, you can go a plethora of corners. I am still going to be going offensive line. Peter Skoronski is the move. So the Steelers, now we're at a very interesting spot. So obviously I'm a Steelers fan. A lot of Steelers fans don't like my picks this year. I'm just going to be honest. I don't fully understand why, but I would love for you guys to let me in on some of your insight because I watch the Steelers. I understand we have a crap run defense, but I also know this draft, and it's not a very good one to address that in. So defensive interior with Brian Breezy here. I usually hate the idea, but the fact is he is an elite pass rusher, and you have the perfect situation for him to grow and develop in. DeMarvin Leal essentially is written off if this is the move. I think DB is something we definitely need to look after as well. And I don't think it's out of the question to look at Jordan Addison because we are in an NFL at this moment that prioritizes that connection between the wide receiver and the QB. But at this moment, I don't know if I could pass on Breezy. I don't know if I can. Just because this team needs defensive interior help. And it's just tough. It's really tough to pass on somebody who could be really special. But you do have Broderick Jones here. And I've been seeing too many Dan Moore clips where he's just absolutely in the middle of nowhere. I think this is the right move. And you can kick him into guard for a short period of time because Georgia, they can play every single position in the offensive line. That's just the way they roll there. Pick number 18. I love going corner for you guys. I do. I don't see a need for it right now with so many good ones on the board and Brian Breezy still being here. And if I'm not mistaken, you're pairing him up with his buddy Myles Murphy. Wait till round 2. We have so many damn good corners on the board. They are bound to fall. There's somebody who's bound to fall, who is worth a first-round pick, especially on my board. I mean, I don't think it's going to be Emmanuel Forbes because I love Emmanuel Forbes. But I think the best move is to secure the hot commodity. And Brian Breezy will fit perfectly. You have that instant chemistry. Now you have Aleem McNeil. You have Brian Breezy. You have James Houston, Aiden Hutchinson. You also have Myles Murphy. So you do have a really killer defensive line. Build through the trenches. And now we have the ability to grab a really top-tier corner in round 2 versus probably scraping the barrel for somebody to help on the defensive interior later on. Pick number 19. This is going to be cornerback central for me because no more quarterbacks available. Hell no, I'm not taking Tanner McKee. But I am looking at the corners here. There's so many good ones. I mean, I love Keely Ringo, especially on this squad. I have Keely Ringo higher than Christian Gonzalez, so I'm going to stick to my board here. Keely Ringo is going to be the pick. I'll scroll down so you guys get to see a little bit more of my board. Alusagun's going to be tanking after today. He has looked bad, but still. Pick number 20. I think, so what's interesting here is that I want the Steelers to move up to this pick. I do. And y'all might call me crazy for it, and I respect that if you do. But I'm looking at what Seattle should be going after. I'm looking at offensive line. I'm looking at linebacker. Like, these are positions that are addressable at 33. And you already know the Seahawks love to trade down. And I know that the Steelers have that pretty much free first-round pick. Now, I think that we might negotiate a trade with Deontay Johnson later with another team. But for now, I think the right move would be to move up from 32 to 20. And the cost of that would be at least 2/3 at least. If you want to toss in a next year's second, do your thing. That's not going to affect this mock draft. The Steelers are not going to toss in both of their seconds to move up here. Nor do I think the Seattle Seahawks need another second-round pick on top of that. But the Steelers have moved up because I just talked about it. Chemistry is key. You're in a division where not with Lamar Jackson, but with Joe Burrow passing to Jamar Chase like 50,000 times a year. Do I think Jordan Addison, Kenny Pickett is that exact combo? No. But you see Tua as well as Jalen Waddle. You see Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith. There are these key chemistry attributes that are going around the NFL, and it is leading to success. I think this is totally going to happen. I just could not muster doing that over drafting an offensive lineman. These are two of the biggest positions of need. Address D-tackle and free agency. I do not give a rat's ass. You need to do what you need to do. But this is a position that we need to go after because it's an awesome idea. We have the picks. We don't have the plethora of needs. This is a must if you want to really revolutionize the franchise. Pick number 21. So Chargers, you're kind of like, Zay Flowers would be awesome. I always love sending Zay Flowers to you guys. It used to be round 2. Now he's picking up this crazy hype. I think Michael Mayer is a great option for this team, though. I want to get a reliable option, and you see that Kellen Moore's there. Dalton Schultz was such a consistent option in that offense. I would love to see Mayer fit into that category. Somebody who's just a nice, reliable target, good blocker, just gets open in space, would be a really good fit for this team. Pick number 22. I mean, it's very rare that I get to choose someone like Christian Gonzalez at this point, but we're just balling out today. I love it. Bijan Robinson, I'm still sticking with him here at pick number 23. I'm sorry, Vikings fans, it's been 3 drafts in a row, but I don't think he falls past you guys because, again, Alexander Madison up for a contract. Dalvin Cook, potential casualty in terms of the cap. So when you get an all-star, you don't pass up on an all-star, especially if it's a position of need as well. Pick number 24, you do have JSN here. I just picked him for you. I think this could be a good trade back spot. You do have some top tier corners. You do have someone like Zay Flowers as well. I love Cam Smith, Emmanuel Forbes here. You also have Jalen Jones, who I have super high on my board, Clark Phillips. This is a good spot to trade back and get more capital. I don't really like the fact that I'd be spending a pick here. And I'm looking at guys like Osiris Torrance, and there are teams that should be trying to be a little bit more aggressive to get those offensive linemen handled. And for me, I'm looking at it, and I like the idea of O-line for Dallas, but corner is just there. You already know you're going to get somebody good. So I'm going to look for the Buffalo Bills to make a small move up here. The Bears certainly could be trying to make a move because they do have that pick, but I also just know that the Bills need that interior offensive line help. They need help in general, honestly. But like, is it going to require a 3rd round pick? I totally do not think so. So it will take just that 4th round pick. It gives you guys, the Jaguars, an extra way to be able to throw a pick out there. Dougie is usually pretty damn good at drafting anyways. So this is going to be Osiris Torrance out of Florida. Just a super high upside guard that, he does bring a lot of oomph to the table. I like what he does bring. Pick number 25, I'm down to 3 players. Zay Flowers, JSN, and Cam Smith. I like all of them for this team. I think weapons is something that I would love to go after. JSN and Zay Flowers are both awesome players. They just play totally different roles. And Zay Flowers, I love him. I'd rather go Jack Smith and Jigba because I do think he's just better overall in terms of his impact for this offense. Yes, I'm not saying Zay Flowers is worse than Wan'Dale Robinson. He's not even close to as bad as Wan'Dale was for the value. I think Zay is a great player. But Jackson Smith and Jigba brings that bigger X receiver that you're looking for in Kenny Golladay, but he also has great blocking ability, which is just always a huge plus, especially if your identity is Saquon. So you guys can get mad at that. I think that'll be perfectly fine. I'm just going to continue pushing on here. And at number 26, the Cowboys are here. You can go Cam Smith. You can go Emmanuel Forbes. I think Emmanuel Forbes deserves more hype than Cam Smith, in my opinion, though. So I'm going to be locking it freaking down with Emmanuel Forbes. I love him. He's my cornerback at number 4. That potentially number 3. We'll see about how Jalen Jones pans out. Pick number 27 for the Jaguars. We are back. And I think the right move would be to potentially look at the offense. I'm not liking the options here. And looking at the tackles, you could look at Mock, but he just got absolutely shellacked by Carl Brooks. So probably going to be cooling off on that Mock 1st round hype. And looking at other options for this team, I think Zay Flowers could be cool, but it kind of replaces the idea of Christian Kirk. I might want to go Cam Smith here. I know that slot corner is probably the more enticing position to grab, but Cam Smith just might be a little too good to pass on. So I'm going to go Cam Smith right there. Pick number 28. So for the Bengals, I think that this man has earned himself a spot in the 1st round by how he's just played on day 1. This could totally change as of like when I watch all the reps tonight, because Senior Bowl they don't upload it until later that day. So we'll see. All I've seen is stuff from Twitter, which is propaganda. Never listened to all the stuff on Twitter. But from the reps I have seen, and I've commented about this based on my studies as well, DeJuan Jones has those perfect reps where you're like, holy shit, this guy has that size and he has those reps. This could be a good spot for him to at least sit and wait for a year, but he could, if he ends up panning out, end up being an absolutely awesome player. Now at pick number 29, I just don't know if this pick is going to be traded for Sean Payton. I don't know. I don't. So it's tough because I really want to have this pick traded for Sean Payton. And I think I'm going to try it out. We're going to do it. Let me know if you guys think that it's out of the realm of possibility. I don't think it is. Like, it just makes sense. And we'll force a trade. RIP to Sean Payton. He's going there and trying to fix what is there. And there's a lot of good pieces there in Denver. So it's not like it's a lost cause. But at pick number 29, Lucas Van Ness is literally the definition of what you kind of are looking for to replace Marcus Davenport. Large, athletic, extremely raw, good in the run game. Love that idea of that for him. Pick number 30, Zay Flowers is intriguing here, but this is just a team that doesn't need to go after that real game-breaking wide receiver. So defensive interior, Kalijah Cansey, I'm glad to see him moving up the board. They really need to update it to take out Jason Newton because that does like really, get on my nerves sometimes. But, I'm looking at it. I think the best value here would be an edge rusher, but you could get somebody later on. Oh, my man, Isaiah freaking McGuire. Number 2 player in the class for me. But I do think Kalijah Kancey might get that hype to be that interior presence next to Chris Jones. And that could be really awesome. But you could wait to the round 2 to get Mozzie Smith. There's options. But I am going to say that you are going to go Kalijah Kancey pretty much to say screw you to the Eagles, because the Eagles would be a great destination for him to go. Got to show a little bit of love to Kalijah. He seems to be a DPR, which is designated pass rusher. In other words, he should probably be only on pass downs. But the reps that you do see are very, very, very incredible. I just am worried about him versus offensive linemen who are technically sound as well as powerful. That might be able to, take it up a notch and be able to, move him out of consideration for the play. So at pick number 31 for the Eagles, we have already went Joey Porter, which, holy shit, did not think that was possible. But it is. And we're living in a very intriguing world. That is, obviously one of the best possible picks for you. And looking at positions to go after, again, defensive interior, you could just try to say, hey, we are going to just go balls to the wall. I don't know why they don't have Carl Brooks here. But Carl Brooks definitely should be something that you are looking for. The fact that he's 63 is a little bit disrespectful, but I understand it. I'm going to move out of this pick because I think Zay Flowers is really awesome, and I want to see a team that might want to move up into this position to grab him. And, I'm looking at teams that could be in the mood for that, and to be honest, there's not many. Wow, there's really not many teams I would want to take a wide receiver for. So there's still Trenton Simpson here, though, and I want to get a team that might want to hop the Seahawks for a top-tier linebacker, and that's the Panthers. The Panthers just got a very big project. I want to get somebody who is ready day one, and I already know I'm going to take multiple linebackers by the time of their pick. I need to make a move right now. So we are going to be making a move here with the Panthers to be able to move up with the Eagles. I think this would require this 3rd round pick just because now it's starting to get significantly different in the value between these picks. So 9 spots will require that 3rd round pick. You guys move up, and then you guys are not selecting Trenton Simpson, but the guy who came to mind was still a linebacker in Drew Sanders, a guy who deserves to get that 1st round hype. So that's going to be the video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out tomorrow for round 2. Thank you, of course, for supporting me as always. See you on the far side. Peace.